Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Jenna Bradshaw, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. You guys know how much I love astrology, and we have our amazing astrologer, astrotherapist technically, Jake Santora, on the Holistic Human Performance team. We've been working behind the scenes. I'm so excited to finally be able to talk about this. We are doing a virtual retreat. It is going to be an astrology retreat. This is so incredible because we are combining astrology and healing to create long-lasting change in your life, for you to understand your soul's blueprint. So welcome to the Astrological Alignment Lab, Align with Your Stars retreat. Jake Santora is going to be taking the lead on this. I'm going to be tag teaming with him, and it's going to be amazing. So basically how we're going to do it, there will be 3 days of this virtual retreat. It will be a combination of virtual live stream and pre-recorded bonus videos. So what you're going to get out of this retreat, it's a foundational understanding of astrology, so that this language feels intuitive, empowering, and not confusing. Because let's be real, who doesn't want to know more or learn more about themselves to become a better version of themselves? It's like the cheat code. Seriously, it's your soul's cheat code. So why not utilize it to your advantage? You're going to get personal insight for your birth chart, which Jake will be doing readings throughout this retreat. It's going to unlock patterns, strengths, weaknesses, soul-led guidance specific to your cosmic blueprint. We're going to do energy healing, energy medicine. I'm going to take the lead on that. So we can really, now we understand who we are, and now we can take that information. How do we help ourselves? What tools can we utilize to alchemize what we came here to do and turn it into gold? When you use all of this information, you can literally change your life on every single level. The relationships of your dreams, the home of your dreams, the business of your dreams, the body of your dreams, coming back to wholeness, coming back to health. When you align with your soul's mission and purpose, you feel so fulfilled and so healthy on a level you don't even remember the person you used to be. You take those learning lessons and you move forward, and we are stepping into the fire horse year. 2026 is a fire horse year, which means it's going to be fast. It's going to be authentic. You must step into the most authentic, audacious version of yourself, whatever that means to you. And if you're not doing the inner work, we are here to help you with that. Now let's alchemize it into gold. We are so excited to bring this to you. It is going to start on February 20th, and we will go until February 22nd. And don't worry, if you can't make it live, we will have the replays available. And I will put all of the juicy information in the description box below. As always, you can find all of this on holistichumanperformance.co or on the Holistic Human Performance app, both available on Apple Store and Google Play. I will see you guys there. Hit us up with any questions. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Bradshaw Vitale, and today we have a special guest with us. We have Caren Paskel. She's a best-selling author, speaker, and founder of Caren Paskel Self-Evolution, Youthful Longevity Yoga Training and Retreat, and the Self-Evolution Education Foundation. She started her journey at just age 16 and has dedicated her career to guiding individuals toward holistic transformation, empowerment, and self mastery. With decades of experience in yoga and spiritual education, she provides a practical roadmap for integrating ancient wisdom into modern life. I'm so excited to dive in with you. Without further ado, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jenna. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
It's gonna be great. So I love to hear people's story. My first question is for you because I can think back of yoga is what got me into what I do today. So I'm curious, like, what how did you stumble upon how did you stumble upon yoga? Like what got you into it? I love to hear the story behind it.
It is the foundation from which I have become the butterfly that I am. And it really moved me out of my cocoon. I was an introverted child and even adult. Loved to be like under the covers, literally, bed is my favorite place. So if you were to meet me now, you would never believe who I used to be and who I've become. And yoga really got me out of my shell and connected me to a greater, higher me within that I didn't even know was there at a very young age. And how I got into yoga was, thank goodness, I actually started to develop anxiety, pressure, depression, panic in high school.
Mm.
And it wasn't until like around age 16. And my mom thought that yoga would be great for me because my brother's best friend had like the only yoga studio around. And so,
Wow.
yeah, she said, I wonder if you would want to try yoga because I was a mover. I loved dance, but dance started to become feeling more pressurized,
Yeah.
looking in the mirror, competition, and it didn't feel joyful anymore because of that. And I felt a lot of anxiety to remember the choreography and to look a certain way and to perform. And so I really was more stressed going to dance, but I loved to dance and I was an athlete. So I think my mom just kind of put it together like this might be something really good for you. It's healthy, you're moving around, so you'll like that. And she was thinking more of the mental benefits. And it was our friend, someone I knew, familial. The first yoga experience I ever had was life-changing for me because the instructor didn't just talk about the postures. It was very therapeutic. And I heard other things besides what was going on with my body, what was going on with my mind, and uplifting message that I really needed to hear. So that was the first time that I just connected to myself in a different way. And I felt whole. I didn't feel separated. And I wanted more of that. So I was wondering, where did that come from? Right. And so for years, I just went to class after class after class and had an experience with myself that unfolded into so much more. So that's the beginning story of how I got into it at a very young age.
I love that. And I love yoga. It's funny because say I grew up an athlete, same thing. College is when I think yeah, college is when I first stumbled upon yoga. And I remember my coach, I was running track and field at the time, and for recovery day, she would have someone come in on Sunday. I'll never forget this woman. She was phenomenal. Her name is Melissa, and she would do yoga with us, and it was the same thing. It wasn't like typical, like it was like recovery. It felt really good, but she would incorporate like the breath techniques. I totally had performance anxiety, which I didn't even realize at the time, but when I look back I'm like, oh yeah.
Yep.
And I incorporated all, and I was like, this is cool. Like, this is something that I didn't like learn growing up. My family was very athletic, but I never got into, my mom wasn't into yoga and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool to incorporate that. And then from there it just kind of like blossomed. And there's so many, there's so many different aspects of yoga and wellness and spirituality that it just opened up doors. So I'm curious, where did that kind of lead you next into, like, did you get certified in becoming to teach yoga? Like, where did that kind of lead you on the journey? Did you start to develop intuitive gifts? Like, what happened?
It's pretty cool. You're right. It opens so many doors. And for me, spirituality is an endless door into yourself and into divinity, whatever name you want to call it, right? That divine conscious energy that's forever there and never changes. And so it is more open for people to find their way in and to create from that space without the limitations of organized religions, which kind of
Mm,
keep it into sort of a box. Religion for me was very limiting growing up, even though we were in a Jewish liberal household, it still didn't make any sense to me. And I was sort of forced to go to Sunday school, forced to be bat mitzvahed, and it didn't have any meaning to me. I was turned off by everything that was trying to be pushed in. And so I don't even understand my religion because of the way that it was given to me, right?
mm,
So with yoga, it was like a platter of this is for you and you can do whatever you want with it. And it was very, very refreshing for me. So I kept going back and investigating. And it was funny because back then, not everyone was doing yoga. So I was kind of the person. And I think that I was offered opportunities to teach without ever being trained just because I had taken so much yoga. So it was like, oh, I went to this I was a counselor at a camp at 16 and it was a weight loss camp and I was helping people and younger than me with their health in their body and their mind. And so it was like that where someone said, "Oh, you know how to do yoga. Would you teach these kids a class?" And I was like, "I don't really know how to teach yoga, but I know how to take yoga and I'll do the best I can." And so I just fell into it and realized every time I was asked to teach, next it was a gym where my boyfriend managed, and he said the same thing. Oh, you take yoga all the time. We need a yoga class. So the opportunities just came. I didn't look for them. I never thought about teaching until I actually taught. That's so cool, right? So then I taught and it was apparent that I had a natural gift
mm,
to lead people through physical movement, through breathing, and talk about mental health all at the same time and spirituality rolled into one. Like it was super easy for me to do that, natural, and I loved it. So I felt like I was elevating myself by teaching. I was the best version of me, even though where I was teaching wasn't where I was in my life living. Like I wanted to try to narrow that gap. I feel like it brought me up to that every time. So I was a student and a teacher, and I never, not never, but for years, never was certified. And it was honestly, it was my confidence and love for yoga that landed me jobs teaching really easily. Never had a certification. And this certification didn't come until I was done with college.
mm,
I was done with art school. It was like I knew I was at a precipice. I knew I was at a huge transitional space in my life. And so I was with somebody who was very unhealthy and I knew I needed to get out of that relationship. So in my brother was one of my teachers and still is, and he's 10 years older than us. So at the time he said, why don't you come home back to Michigan? Because I was in California, take our teacher training because he started to get into yoga and partnered up with the same person who I took that very first class with.
no
They
way.
they literally offered me like a full-time job. They said, "We know you're gonna go through this teacher training, but we think it will be a good foundation because you've never
Right.
been trained. So take our training, you'll come teach for us because they had a bunch of studios. And that's the way out of this relationship that you're in. And now you have a job. So I really didn't know what to do except for that. And I used the teacher training time, not just to develop that strong foundation for teaching, but it was, again, it was so therapeutic. That time was to build myself up to leave this, you know, I think at the time it was a 6-year relationship, and to
Mm,
detach from that. And so I was able to muster up that energy, right? To come home and say to him, I need to move forward. This isn't healthy for me. And that allowed me to make the big move back to Michigan and land that job for the next, like, portion of my life.
that is so cool. What a great lesson, too, because a lot of people think that like you're a prime example of someone who just kind of like went for it. It was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm good at this. Like sounds good." At 16 years old, you know what I mean? You're just like, "Yeah, let's try it." And then you continue to say yes, and the universe, God, source, whatever you want to say, was just handing you things and you're just like, "Okay, next. Okay, next." That's a really great lesson for people because it's funny. I was yesterday, I believe, I love to pull like oracle cards for myself, and I pulled an oracle card yesterday and faith came out, and I was like, ooh, this is, yes, like this next journey. I was telling you how I'm pregnant, and like this next journey and just moving forward up level with business and all entrepreneurship. It's spiritual game in general, you know how that goes. And it's just like, have faith, just take that leap of faith, keep going, keep going. That was like the message I was getting. So that is a really great lesson for listeners when, if you're in a really um if you're in a space of feeling stuck and stagnant, and you're just not sure where to go, what are you good at? What skills are you good at? And what opportunities are around you? Because there's always something. It's just a matter of us, we get in our own way. So I really love that, that's part of your story. That's really cool.
Well, and it's fun talking about it because back then it was unconscious. I had no idea of what the teachings were. And then once I came into the teachings, the eternal values and universal laws of life and the philosophy, from the Vedas that are so ancient, the scriptures, the teachings, right? That's when things really started to change for me because I never um had anything that made so much sense to me before. And I was mad at first. I was like, why isn't this like just given to everybody? This is the
Yeah.
most practical way to live your life, to be happy, to make a living in both, and to spiritually evolve. And so once I found the golden lessons or roadmap of life, I was so easy it was so easy for me to regurgitate. I just literally, like a sponge, it went into every pore, and I could just teach all of it. It just came in, and I'd have to, regurgitate it and give it. And so that was just a gift. And now I'm so grateful that I understand what was unconsciously happening. So now I come from a place of conscious creation where I truly believe that when you're in the unpredictability and when you're in the uncertainty, I mean, Joe Dispenza talks about this like
We
endlessly.
love him.
Yes, that is like what I realized was the gift of life is actually living in the unknown. That's your vision of greatness versus the known and the safe. That's what I help people with mostly, to get out of the safety net of their past conditioning and paradigm, because it won't allow you to grow into your highest self, and it won't allow you to see all the opportunities, possibilities, the endless blessings that are right in front of you. I have so many people talking about what's already happened, what's behind us, the worries, the angst. And again, that is futile. It doesn't allow us to grow and also to realize what's right here, what's about to fall into your lap, to be open to those open doors and then to turn the knob. We're so focused on the doors that have shut behind us, or the rejection. And my favorite motto that I just shared with someone is man's rejection is God's protection.
Yes.
I just see I'm in the dating world. Like I haven't been on a dating app in so many years. And I was married to my soulmate. He passed away a few years ago. So moving to a totally different state, not knowing anybody, I was encouraged by one of my mentors who's a business partner of mine. Like, Caren, you gotta, if you really want to meet someone, you can't send mixed messages to the universe. Just go, you need to put yourself out there. And I did. And it's so different from when I used to be on a dating app where it's
Yeah.
like I was so hungry for like to be loved, but now I have
Yeah.
self-love and I don't even care. Like if you ghost me, thank you very much. Someone
Yes.
blew me off the other day. I was so thrilled. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you. Like not why did this happen? Why didn't he text me back? Like, why didn't he show up? I'm like, oh, that's so I just understand the way energy
Yeah.
works. And my frequency is so high and I'm always growing. So I grow through lots of people, clients. I'm constantly outgrowing. So there needs to be an energetic match. And I realize that. And so I just let the universe do its thing. I just do my thing. And then I understand that I have a role, the universe has a role. And if we're both playing our roles, I don't have to try to do what you do. I'll just do what I know I need to do. And the universe gives me always the how, the where, and the when. And what I
Yes.
find is everybody's so hyper focused on how am I going to do this? When
Mm-hmm.
should I do this? When is this going to happen? And there's no movement and there's just stress. So, anyone out there, it's the best advice possible that I've given myself and my clients is all your part is knowing what you want to do, what you choose to do, who you want to do it with, and your why. The rest will be figured out. And that's just how I roll now. And my life is super spontaneous and it scares the crap out of most people. Like people do not understand me. They don't know what I'm doing. Oh, did you move to Colorado for your job? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't really know. I'm just being.
Sounds like fun.
It is so fun. Okay, so I'm 47. I'm the healthiest I've ever been and I feel so amazing. But there's been tragedy,
Yeah.
I lost my partner, my yoga studios. I was in a pandemic with all of that going on in a new house under construction. My dog died. I mean like everything.
Damn,
And
you had a
and
tower moment.
I
Oof.
did all
Oof.
of this.
Yes.
I just had to put up my hands and surrender.
Yeah. What
And
else are you gonna do?
because I understood that it was happening for me,
Yeah.
not to me. And I was like, okay, I know there's blessings here. And from that place, I know I called all of it in because that was the catalyst for my exponential growth. And it could have even, it could be shot me down, or I'm going to grow from this and I'm going to transform and I'm going to use this to help other people and inspire myself and others and write a book and all these things that I never thought I was ever going to do. I just opened myself up to not why is this happening, but this is happening. And so what am I going to do with that, really?
Oh my gosh, so many gems in there. You're such an inspiration. That is so amazing, and it really just shows that when you really step into your authenticity, you have unshakable faith and trust. Look at what's possible. It's you're not over here complaining. You're not over here in victimhood consciousness. You're on the other side and you're actually helping people do it, like just like live their lives in a way that you're sitting here saying you're 47 years old and it's the healthiest you've ever been. That's incredible. And after all of this tragedy and trauma that you've gone through, to be in a space of like, I'm just gonna do my thing and I'm go because most people wouldn't do that. I'm curious, what is your astrological sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Oh, okay. Yes, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, okay, cool. I'm all
March 17th.
okay, cool, cool. Wait, your birthday's coming up. As we were No, March. I'm sorry.
Yes,
We're in May. Oh,
it just
pregnancy
happened.
brain.
Yeah, no, it's
Oof.
okay. But you're close. I just turned 47 in
Yeah.
March. Not too far off.
Yes. That's amazing. And it makes so much sense. I'm also a water sign. I'm a Cancer.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
we
us
get each
Pisces
other.
like to I can be really out there, and so grounding is really important for me.
Yeah.
because I can be so far into the depth of my soul.
Yeah.
And but it's like this beautiful balance of grounding myself and anchoring myself and literally putting my bare feet into the ground to feel that. And having certain people in my life that are very grounding as well for me to be out there all at the same time so I don't go too far out because I want to stay connected to the world that I live in. And that's the place that I can inspire. So I am, I call myself a butterfly because I just fly around and I meet people. I meet just it's all about, right, your vibration and whatever that is what you're attracting. I always say whatever is in your life, you have attracted and creative, whether it's conscious or unconscious. So I focus on the conscious part. And
Mhm.
what can I do to be in my highest vibration, to feel my best? And I used to be very, very sick. I mean, a lot of illnesses, and it was progressing into I had pancreatitis. Those were the two things
Wow.
twice, one when my husband was sick and one after he died. I was in the hospital for days because of the inflammation. I know pancreatitis can turn into pancreatic cancer. I mean,
Yeah.
inflammation, right?
Yeah.
It goes untreated. And lots of people said, "Oh, you can't drink anymore." And I'm like, "I'm not a drinker. This is not because of drinking. This is because I was under
So much
high
stress.
stress." And so I reprioritized my health as my purpose. And it was so funny because on this dating app, someone said to me, "Well, what do you do in your free time besides when you're focusing on yourself?" And I was like, I'm focusing on myself so that I can give more to others and the world. Like, that's my mission. It's not selfish. It's like, I know that my energy vibrates to the whole globe. Yours does, everyone's does. And so I stopped thinking about it as like, I just want to feel good to be happy in myself. No, I just want to feel good to contribute that goodness to the entire world. So, what does that take on a daily basis? And that leads me to giving more. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't realize when you give to yourself, you have an ability to give and share more. So, all this energy now, I get to share it with the world and I get to show up like you said, authentically. And that's really what the power of self-belief is. That's what was given by my husband. He had it. I decided to take it as well.
Yeah.
And I believe we all have it inside. No one can give it to you. Someone can be that and you can be inspired. And now I feel okay, that's the legacy. I get to inspire people to believe in themselves and make beautiful moves in their life and attract beautiful experiences and opportunities. So I'm just happy to share that.
Oh, amazing. It's so true. If you don't fill up your cup, and I love because I say this all the time, health, excuse me, health and purpose are directly correlated. You literally cannot separate them. It is absolutely not possible. And that is exactly what I found on my journey as well. And interviewing professionals all over the world, and it's the same thing, and I'm like, this is a key to success right here. Like, we cannot separate this. And the more that you dive into your authenticity, the more you go all in, the more that you cater to the self, the more that you'll step into your purpose, and you'll,
Yes.
whatever way it's going to bring you, right, whatever your role is, you just got to trust and just keep moving and just keep progressing and going forward.
Yes.
It is so spot on.
I know, and I'm totally vibing with this conversation because you wouldn't believe the first pillar of the Youthful Longevity Yoga Academy that my partners and I just launched. That is health as your purpose. Like that's it.
Yes.
And that's what we just talked about for the first day of our longevity retreat in Costa Rica that we came from is understanding this mindset, right? Of and it even goes beyond mindset, but it starts with, okay, you have to understand your health is your purpose because as you know, as a cancer survivor, right? It's when you don't have your health, you can't be in your purpose. You can't give because you don't have the health and the energy to do so.
Right.
So once you realize, wow, if I'm healthy, I can give so much more. I teach this and share this with caregivers as well as part of my nonprofit is just to say, if you're unhealthy, if you're depleted and run down, how are you going to best care and give for that loved one? And I know for me, my husband, he couldn't stand to see me depleted, unwell, tired. It killed him. It hurt him. He didn't want to see me like that. So I was like, wow, I really have to show up for myself and take care of myself because this is affecting him when he sees me in this state, right? Of sadness or victimhood, whatever it was. Like, I got to break free from this because it's not good for me and it's not helping him.
Mm,
And once I made that transition, I inspired him to write a book before he died. I mean, that's the
wow.
power of this. Yes.
What's the book called?
So it's called Can't Doesn't Exist. And the message is beautiful. It isn't like he couldn't write it. So he had to hire somebody to interview style because he lost his speech. He lost his ability to write. He could
Ugh.
speak at that time. So he was being interviewed. He had all the contents. So someone else was able to kind of write it and they co authored. But to get it out fast enough, and to see for him to see that this book got out, it had to be published before it was fine-tuned and edited. But it's a beautiful book, and he shares his story and his teachings, and you can get it on Amazon too. Can't Doesn't Exist by David Prentice.
That is so beautiful. I have full body chills. That is seriously miraculous. I mean, it's clear that he had a message and a journey and a story to share with everybody, and I'm so happy that, he was able to get that in the world before.
Yes, and thank you because I knew that he would not be able to die peacefully if he didn't feel that he made a difference in the world with something he left behind. So that was number 1. But number 2, I knew that by changing myself and for him to see me successful even while he was sick, when I closed my studios and recreating my business, he got to see the success of that. And I
Mm,
knew those 2 things that he would be able to be at peace to go at such an early age because he had only just turned 30. And so
wow.
I remember him telling me at our 30-year wedding anniversary when he could still speak that he was okay to die because he knew that he helped me and he didn't think that I was going to be the person that he was going to change. He thought I was great and he's like, but I didn't know that I was going to make a difference in your life. I was trying to make a difference in everyone else's lives. And it was you and I get to see that. And you're just such a badass, he said. So I'm okay. I know that you're going to be fine. And so hearing that from him, of course, was heart wrenching just because
Oh,
I knew he
yeah.
was saying his goodbyes, but it made me so happy that I empowered myself to change while he could see it and that he got peace from that. So, yeah, that was a pretty big moment for me.
That's huge. That's absolutely beautiful. And I'm so happy that all of this like transformed before, his transition and helping you obviously create what you've created today. Like you've published your own book, your own education system and business, and you are a badass. Like that's so cool. A lot of people would just give up after
Yeah,
something like that would happen and they would just throw in the towel. They would just say, "What's the point of living?" And, I give you so much props that like for being a caregiver, dealing with all that, losing your health, and still leaning into this is my purpose and I need to continue on. So kudos to you,
never,
girl.
never give up. Never give up. And
Never.
I will just say it took a village. I
Yeah,
did not do this alone. It
right.
took a lot of people, a lot of health practitioners, but then also just I invested everything I had into mentorship to be in proximity with the best guides who are going to uplift me and love me unconditionally. And so I just believed I was my greatest asset. And I'm like, what am I going to put into me? And that's how I got to be here in this high state of health and happiness.
So beautiful. So you talk a lot about taking these ancient practices, which you've clearly integrated into your own life, like you're a walking embodiment of it. What would be some like words of wisdom before we wrap up here, of for the listeners to take this ancient wisdom and be able to integrate it into this modern world?
Well, I would say my book is really helpful, The Power of Self-Belief, because I share my story, but then I give you these power thoughts, which are the teachings kind of integrated within the book and the story so that they're practical for you. And also so you can the acronym is think, reflect, absorb, and apply. I call it TRAY. So there has to be some of your own independent reflection on any truth of life. And as long as you just take the time, instead of just believing anything I say, take the time to really think about it. What does it mean for you? What is this concept? Then from there, after you chew it, you can absorb it just like food. If you just swallow it whole, it's gonna be hard to digest. So take your time with it. And one teaching, one golden nugget, even that something we've said today, if you're thinking about it, take that time. Just take that one thing. So sometimes what happens is we try to take too much. So if you're
Mm,
reading my book, just one power thought at a time. Put it down, let it sink in, apply it to your life in a practical way, and
mhm.
then just be open for the next thing. Don't try to like get it all in one serving. And usually one teaching, if you really get it, it it's everything, right? It incorporates all the teaching. So it can be overwhelming at first. And you think, oh my God, how am I going to learn and know all this? And it's like one quality, one value. If you really get that, it opens up to everything else and it will change you. And
That's
gratitude
awesome.
is
Mhm.
is is one thing I think that people talk about it all the time, but are you really grateful? Are
Right.
you really in appreciation of what you have? And are you aware of that throughout the day? Gratitude is a full-time practice, and it
Mm.
really is the seat of receivership. So, if there was one value that everyone can relate to, no one can argue how powerful gratitude is, but asking yourself, what does that really mean? Are you practicing it as much as you can? And what are your thoughts? Because if your thoughts are not about appreciation and recognition of all that you have and all that is here, it's probably not a practice yet for you. So I would really encourage people to just take something simple and actually just start with that.
Well, I'm grateful that I got to meet you and we had this amazing conversation. Like, we could go on for hours, seriously.
Yes, me too.
Thank you so much. So, Karen, where can people find you?
I would just say the easiest is my website, CarenPaskel.com. I'm also on social media, so please find me at Caren Paskel on Instagram. And if you look up my name, starts with a C, you will find a way to connect. It's not very difficult. I love to connect to people.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story and the great work that you're doing. It was so nice chatting with you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, guys, if you like this episode, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.